Sarah lived in a small apartment above Mr. Kim's grocery store. The walls were thin, and sometimes she could hear Mr. Kim humming late at night while he stocked shelves. The apartment had one bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a living room barely big enough for a couch and a small table. Rent was always due, and some months it felt like there was never enough money. Sarah worked at the diner down the street, flipping pancakes and serving coffee. The tips were okay, but some days people weren't very nice. She worried about Lily, her daughter, more than anything. Lily was 7, with bright eyes and a smile that could light up a room. Sarah wanted to give Lily everything, but it was hard. Every night, after Lily was asleep, Sarah would sit at the small table and look at the bills. The electric bill, the gas bill, the rent. It felt like they were always piling up. She wished she could give Lily a better life, a house with a yard where she could play, and maybe even a dog. But those things felt so far away. Despite her worries, Sarah always made sure to read Lily a bedtime story. Tonight it was The Little Engine That Could. Sarah loved the message of the story. I think I can, I think I can. She hoped that one day, she could truly believe it for herself. She tucked Lily in, kissed her forehead, and whispered, I love you more than anything. As she closed the door, a single tear rolled down her cheek. She knew she had to find a way to make things better, for Lily's sake. The next day was Saturday, and the town was having a small fair in the park. Sarah decided to take Lily. It was free, and Lily had been asking to go all week. They walked hand in hand, the sun shining on their faces. The park was filled with people, booths selling lemonade and cotton candy, and kids playing games. Lily's eyes widened as she saw a balloon artist making animals. Mommy, can we get one? She asked, tugging on Sarah's hand. Sarah hesitated. She didn't have much money, but she couldn't resist Lily's hopeful gaze. Okay, honey, she said, smiling. As Lily waited for her balloon dog, Sarah stood back, watching her daughter. She saw a man standing nearby, watching the children with a kind smile. He had neatly combed hair and wore a smart suit. He looked familiar, but Sarah couldn't quite place him. Suddenly, Lily's balloon popped with a loud bang. Lily burst into tears. The man rushed over and knelt beside her. Oh, I'm so sorry, he said gently. He pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and offered it to Lily. Here you go. How about we find you another balloon? Sarah walked over, feeling embarrassed. Thank you, she said to the man. That's very kind of you. I'm so sorry, she gets upset easily. The man smiled. It's no problem at all. Children are precious. My name is John, he said, extending his hand. Sarah shook it, feeling a little flustered. I'm Sarah. It was then that she realized who he was. It was John F. Kennedy. She'd seen his picture in the newspapers. Mr. Kennedy? Sarah stammered, feeling her cheeks flush. She couldn't believe she was talking to the John F. Kennedy. He smiled warmly. Please call me John. And it looks like someone needs a new balloon. He winked at Lily, who was still sniffling. He bought her a bright red balloon shaped like a heart. Lily's face lit up, and she clutched the balloon tightly. As they walked away from the balloon booth, John turned to Sarah. So, Sarah, he said, his voice gentle. What do you do? Sarah hesitated. She felt awkward talking about her struggles with someone so important. I work at the diner down the street, she said quietly. And is that enough to get by? He asked, his eyes filled with genuine concern. Sarah sighed. It's hard, she admitted. I'm a single mother, and it's tough to make ends meet. I worry about Lily all the time. She glanced at Lily, who was happily skipping along with her new balloon. John stopped walking and looked directly at Sarah. I understand. Raising a child on your own is never easy. What are your dreams for Lily? Sarah's heart ached. I just want her to have a good life, she said, her voice thick with emotion. A safe home, good food, and a chance to follow her dreams. I don't want her to struggle the way I have. John listened intently, his expression thoughtful. He seemed genuinely interested in her story. He asked about her education, her past jobs, and what she enjoyed doing. Sarah felt a sense of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe, just maybe, things could get better. Sarah, John said after a moment of quiet reflection, I might have an opportunity for you. It's not much, but I believe it could be a stepping stone. Sarah looked at him, her heart pounding. What kind of opportunity? There's an opening in a government office downtown, he explained. It's an entry-level position, mostly filing and answering phones, but it comes with a steady paycheck and good benefits. Most importantly, it provides stability. Sarah's eyes widened. A government job? That sounded incredible. I don't know, Mr. Kennedy, she said, doubt creeping into her voice. I don't have much experience. I only finished high school. John smiled reassuringly. Don't underestimate yourself, Sarah. You're smart, you're hardworking, and you're dedicated. Those are qualities that can't be taught. I believe you're capable of much more than you think. He continued, I'll put in a good word for you. They are looking for someone reliable and trustworthy. I think you fit that description perfectly. Would you be willing to interview for the position? Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. It felt like a dream. Yes, she said, her voice filled with hope. Yes, I would be. John pulled out a small card from his pocket. Here's the contact information for the hiring manager. Tell them I sent you. And Sarah, he added, his eyes twinkling, believe in yourself. You've got this. He smiled, then ruffled Lily's hair before excusing himself to greet another group of people. Sarah watched him go, clutching the card tightly in her hand. This could be it, she thought. This could be the chance she had been waiting for. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the conversation with John F. Kennedy in her head. A government job. It seemed too good to be true. She looked at the card on her nightstand, the name, Mr. Thompson, and the phone number written in neat letters. Doubt started to creep in. What if she wasn't good enough? What if she messed up the interview? She hadn't interviewed for a job in years. The diner was different. They needed someone right away, and it was more about being friendly and quick on her feet. This was a real office job. She got out of bed and went to the small living room. Lily was sound asleep on the pull-out couch. Sarah sat down at the table and started to make a list of all the reasons why she wouldn't get the job. Not enough experience, no special skills, hadn't finished college. The list went on and on. Suddenly, she remembered the bedtime story she had read to Lily the night before. I think I can. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Maybe, just maybe, she could do this. She decided to change her list. Instead of focusing on her weaknesses, she would focus on her strengths. She was reliable, hardworking, and she learned quickly. She was good with people, and she was determined to provide a better life for Lily. She rewrote the list, focusing on her positive qualities. As the sun began to rise, Sarah felt a renewed sense of determination. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was willing to try. For Lily, she would try anything. She picked up the phone and dialed the number on the card. It was time to make a change. Sarah's interview was scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. She spent the next few days preparing. She went to the library and borrowed books on office skills and interview techniques. She practiced answering common interview questions in front of the mirror, trying to sound confident and articulate. Lily even helped. She would pretend to be the interviewer and ask Sarah questions like, "Why do you want this job?" and "What are your strengths?" Lily's innocent questions actually helped Sarah relax and think more clearly. The biggest challenge was finding something to wear. Sarah didn't have any fancy clothes. All she had were her diner uniform and a few simple dresses. She decided to wear her best dress, a blue one that Lily said made her look like a princess. She borrowed a pair of sensible shoes from her neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez. On the morning of the interview, Sarah was a nervous wreck. Her hands were shaking, and her stomach was filled with butterflies. She almost called to cancel, but then she thought of Lily. She had to do this for Lily. She took a deep breath and reminded herself of everything she had learned. She was prepared, she was capable, and she was worthy of this opportunity. She repeated JFK's words in her head. Believe in yourself. As she walked out the door, Lily gave her a big hug. You can do it, Mommy, she said, her eyes shining with confidence. Sarah smiled. That was all the encouragement she needed. She walked to the bus stop, her head held high, ready to face whatever came her way. She knew that even if she didn't get the job, she had already proven something to herself, that she was strong, resourceful, and capable of anything she set her mind to. The government office was a large, imposing building with shiny glass windows. Sarah felt a wave of nervousness wash over her as she walked through the front doors. She took a deep breath and reminded herself that she was strong and capable. The waiting room was filled with people, all dressed in their best suits and dresses. Sarah felt a little out of place in her borrowed shoes and simple blue dress, but she held her head high and took a seat. After what seemed like an eternity, a woman called her name. Sarah Miller? Sarah stood up and followed the woman down a long hallway to a small office. A man with kind eyes and a warm smile sat behind a large desk. Hello, Sarah, he said, extending his hand. I'm Mr. Thompson. The interview went better than Sarah could have ever imagined. Mr. Thompson asked her about her work experience, her skills, and her goals. Sarah answered honestly and confidently, highlighting her strengths and emphasizing her desire to provide a better life for Lily. She even shared a funny story about working at the diner, which made Mr. Thompson laugh. He seemed genuinely impressed by her positive attitude and her willingness to learn. At the end of the interview, Mr. Thompson smiled. Sarah, he said, I'm very impressed with you. Mr. Kennedy spoke very highly of you, and I can see why. You have a great attitude and a strong work ethic. I think you would be a valuable asset to our team. Sarah's heart leaped with joy. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, she said, her voice trembling with excitement. I would love to work here. Well, Mr. Thompson said, I'm happy to offer you the position. Can you start next Monday? Sarah couldn't believe it. She had done it. She had gotten the job. Yes, she said, beaming. Yes, I can. As she left the office, she felt like she was walking on air. She couldn't wait to tell Lily the good news. Their lives were about to change for the better. Sarah could barely contain her excitement as she rushed home to tell Lily the news. She burst through the door, a huge smile on her face. Lily, I got the job, she exclaimed, scooping Lily up in a hug. Lily squealed with delight. You did? You really did? Oh, Mommy, I'm so happy. They celebrated with a special dinner of Lily's favorite, macaroni and cheese, and a small chocolate cake. That night, as Sarah tucked Lily into bed, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Monday morning arrived, and Sarah woke up with a mix of excitement and nervousness. She put on her blue dress and Mrs. Rodriguez's sensible shoes and headed off to her first day at the government office. Her new job was exactly as Mr. Thompson had described. She spent most of her day filing documents and answering phones. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady and secure. Her coworkers were friendly and helpful, and Sarah quickly learned the ropes. She loved the feeling of earning a regular paycheck. It meant she could finally pay her bills on time and not have to worry so much about money. She even started saving a little bit each month for Lily's future. The best part was that she could leave work at 5 p.m. every day, knowing that she would be home in time to spend the evening with Lily. They would read books, play games, and talk about their day. Sarah finally had the time and energy to be the kind of mother she had always wanted to be. The small apartment above Mr. Kim's grocery store still felt small, but now it felt like a haven, a place filled with love and security. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah's life continued to improve. She was a quick learner and soon mastered all the tasks of her job. She learned how to use the office computer, how to file documents efficiently, and how to answer phone calls with a friendly and professional demeanor. She also made some wonderful new friends at work. There was Mrs. Davis, a kind older woman who always had a smile and a word of encouragement. There was also Tom, a young man who shared her love of books and often recommended new titles for her to read. They would all eat lunch together in the break room, sharing stories and laughter. With her steady income, Sarah was able to move out of the small apartment above Mr. Kim's grocery store and into a slightly bigger apartment with 2 bedrooms and a small balcony. Lily was thrilled to finally have her own room. Sarah was also able to afford new clothes for Lily, school supplies, and even a few small toys. She enrolled Lily in dance classes, something Lily had always dreamed of doing. But the biggest change was in Sarah herself. She was no longer the worried and stressed out single mother she had been just a few months ago. She was confident, happy, and full of hope for the future. She had proven to herself that she was capable of anything she set her mind to. She was independent, strong, and ready to face whatever life threw her way. She even started taking night classes at the local community college, with the goal of earning her associate's degree. She wanted to show Lily that anything is possible if you work hard and believe in yourself. Several months later, Sarah saw in the newspaper that John F. Kennedy was giving a speech at a local community center. She knew she had to go and thank him for everything he had done for her and Lily. She dressed in her best dress and took Lily with her. The community center was packed with people, all eager to hear the senator speak. After the speech, Sarah waited patiently in line to meet him. When it was finally her turn, she stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Mr. Kennedy," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Sarah Miller. We met at the town fair a few months ago." John smiled warmly. "Of course I remember you, Sarah. And how is Lily?" Lily stepped forward shyly and waved. "Hello, Mr. Kennedy," she said softly. "It's so good to see you both," John said. "How are things going?" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Things are wonderful, Mr. Kennedy," she said. "I got the job at the government office, and it has changed our lives. I can finally provide for Lily, and we have a safe and happy home. I don't know what I would have done without your help." She reached out and took his hand. "Thank you, Mr. Kennedy," she said. "Thank you from the bottom of my heart." John smiled and squeezed her hand gently. "You don't need to thank me, Sarah," he said. "You did all the hard work. I just gave you a little nudge in the right direction. I always believe in helping those who help themselves. You are a strong and capable woman, and I knew you could do it." He then gave Lily a wink. "And I can see you have a wonderful daughter." Sarah knew she would never forget John F. Kennedy's kindness and compassion. He had given her a second chance, and she was determined to make the most of it. Inspired by JFK's kindness, Sarah decided to pay it forward. She started volunteering at a local women's shelter, helping other single mothers who were struggling to get back on their feet. She shared her story with them, telling them about her struggles, her doubts, and her eventual success. She encouraged them to believe in themselves and to never give up on their dreams. She helped them write resumes, practice interview skills, and find affordable childcare. She even organized a clothing drive to collect professional attire for women going on job interviews. Sarah became a mentor and a role model for these women, showing them that it was possible to overcome adversity and create a better life for themselves and their children. One day, a young woman named Maria came to the shelter. Maria was a single mother with 2 young children, and she had been struggling to find a job for months. She was discouraged and hopeless. Sarah took Maria under her wing and spent hours working with her, helping her to identify her strengths and to develop a plan for her future. She encouraged Maria to enroll in a job training program and helped her find affordable childcare. A few weeks later, Maria came to Sarah with tears in her eyes. "I got a job!" she exclaimed. "I got a job at the local hospital." "Thank you, Sarah, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." Sarah smiled, her heart filled with joy. She knew that she was making a difference in the lives of these women, just as John F. Kennedy had made a difference in her life. She realized that even the smallest act of kindness could have a ripple effect, changing lives for the better. She continued to volunteer at the shelter, determined to help as many women as possible achieve their dreams. She wanted to create a community of strong, independent women who supported and encouraged each other. Years passed, and Sarah continued to work at the government office, rising through the ranks and earning more responsibility. She also continued to volunteer at the women's shelter, expanding its services and reaching even more women in need. Lily grew into a bright and confident young woman. She excelled in school and went on to attend college, pursuing her dream of becoming a teacher. Sarah was incredibly proud of her daughter. One day, Sarah received a letter from the White House. It was an invitation to attend a special event honoring community leaders who were making a difference in their communities. Sarah was surprised and honored. She knew that her work at the women's shelter had made a positive impact, but she never expected to be recognized on a national level. She attended the event with Lily, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. She met other community leaders from all over the country, all working to make the world a better place. During the event, she had the opportunity to speak with President Kennedy. He remembered her and Lily and congratulated her on her success. "Sarah," he said, "your story is an inspiration to us all. You have shown that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of kindness, anything is possible. You are a true role model for our country." Sarah smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. She knew that she had come a long way from the struggling single mother she had once been. She had overcome adversity, achieved her dreams, and made a difference in the lives of others. And it all started with a chance encounter and a small act of kindness from a man who believed in her potential. She continued to live her life with purpose and passion, always striving to make the world a better place, one act of kindness at a time. And so, Sarah's story became a beacon of hope in her community and beyond. It was a reminder that even in the face of hardship, dreams can come true. It demonstrated the transformative power of compassion and the profound impact that a single act of kindness can have on a person's life. Sarah's story was shared in newspapers, magazines, and even on television. People were inspired by her resilience, her determination, and her unwavering commitment to helping others. Children in schools learned about Sarah's story, and it taught them the importance of empathy and the value of giving back to their communities. Adults were reminded that it's never too late to pursue their dreams and to make a difference in the world. Even years later, people would come up to Sarah and tell her how her story had touched their lives. They would say that it had given them the courage to overcome their own challenges and to pursue their own dreams. Sarah always smiled and thanked them, but she knew that her story was not just about her. It was about the power of human connection, the importance of believing in yourself, and the ripple effect of kindness that can change the world. It all started with a pop balloon, a kind stranger, and a little bit of hope. And it blossomed into a life filled with purpose, love, and the unwavering belief that anything is possible. Remember Sarah's story, and remember that even small acts of kindness, like helping someone pick up dropped groceries or offering a smile to a stranger, can make a bigger difference than you might ever imagine. Never underestimate the power of compassion, and always believe in the potential within yourself and others.